All right, so a good friend and one of our live coin Q&A guys, you guys know him as Eric from Blues Coins. If you haven't checked him out, check him out. But anyways, we were talking back and forth, and well, amongst a few of us, okay, we're in a group chat, but he made a point that really resonated with me this morning. I sat there, I read it a few times, and I'm like, God bless America. You know what? The people need to know what it really takes to make $1 million. Well, probably the easiest way to make $1 million, because really, in reality, it really doesn't matter if you had $10 million to start out to make that $1 million. If you don't know anything about the hobby, there is always going to be a way to royally screw it up. But he had mentioned, and I'm going to say this verbatim, if you want to make $1 million in coins, you got to start with 2 million. Right? Because the more amount of capital that you have, the more easier it's going to be. And then with the information and knowledge that you've learned from the hobby, it's just going to go and make it a whole lot easier. If you could just imagine what you could do with $2 million in the numismatics field, it's pretty much, you're having a field day. But at the same time, what do you buy? Well, I can tell you this right now. 100% of the people, the newbies out there into the hobby, are a little bit jaded right now, because what they see on the internet is the, I guess, the voice of opinion, the voice of what matters. Okay, and there's a lot of push toward modern coins. If you're going to be so hooked and focused on modern coins, you're not going to get anywhere. I could tell you this from experience. Dealing specifically with modern coins is going to be one of the most hair-pulling, most aggravating things that you will do in the hobby. And more times than not, a lot of these people end up getting out of the hobby because they just couldn't make it work. They ended up pissing away money left and right through grading submission fees and shipping and all that great stuff. And they never really took the time to really start from square one. They'll see what's on video, and I'm kind of one of those guys that like to talk about modern coins, but that's because everybody wants to know about modern coins. So I'm feeding the need. But I'm telling you this right now, one of the people in the hobby who's also an advocate for what I like to see, just a growth mindset when it comes to numismatics, then you guys will probably enjoy this. I am going to tell you this right now. There are people that I've known for about the last 10 years where I've seen them develop, but they have to be open to this kind of development. I've seen them at the very beginning start off with a few questions. How do I do this? How do I do that? They're not above and beyond everybody else and then talking out of their ass like they know what they're talking about. Making up terminologies and all that stuff when it comes to an error coin, or actually a damaged coin that they found in circulation. And then, we see it all the time on Facebook groups, forum chat pages. Those people, you have two different types of people. You have the one that's willing to learn and will shut up. And then you also have the group of people that will sit there and just continue to post one meaningless coin after another. And then the people, the advocates, the educators that come on and to tell them, hey, you know what, this is damaged because of this. Or this is actually a coin error because of this. And we throw in some links, to ErrorRef or Variety Vista and some of these other sites where there's actual photo references of some of these things in addition to photo references of damaged coins. I mean, go figure, right? The internet age really does display a whole medium of various different types of topics when it comes to this hobby. But it really, ladies and gentlemen, starts at the very beginning. You have to be open to be able to learn from the proven educators out in the field, okay? And if and only if you're fucking good, then you can move on to the next step. And what is that next step? Well, making your money work for you. what do you have to do to make that next step work out? You know, and it's not simple. I'm not going to say, oh, it's simple, just do this. No, it's not simple at all. What we have to do from this point forward in order to start out from down here, okay, you have to come from humble beginnings. All right, I don't want to hear some backstory about how, you know, you went from the poorhouse to, you know, where you're at right now, and then now you're ready to go, even though you haven't learned anything. But starting out down here, and then slowly making those baby steps. It's like paying off bills, right? It's all baby steps. You know, you kind of roll it over, you compound things, and you know, live off of, you know, some of the benefits of doing that. I've seen people, like I had mentioned, from very, very humble beginnings, start out selling $200 to $500 coins, and then after a year, they're up to like, they've graduated. They're up to like 500 to 1,000, 1,000 to 1,500, and then 1,500 to 2,500. And it's like, you know, you're seeing the success over the course of the first couple years. All right, and these people are doing really well. All right, they're not above and beyond anybody else. They're constantly out there. They're always asking questions. They're always getting constructive feedback from their peers. All right, and that's important. That's what's going to be important in order to drive the success of moving that needle. People want all of a sudden this overnight kind of like celebrity status, you know, just, hey, I won $1 million, you know, it's all good. People want the instant gratification that comes with coins and everything that's being seen on video these days, that they tend to forget that there's a lot more to it. Oh, I didn't know I had to invest $55 to ship and submit my coin to PCGS. All right, I'm out. I was never told that. I'm like, yeah, you were told that. You have to spend money to make money in coins. Nothing is there's no free handouts when it comes to hobby. It's not like they're expecting an 1893 Morgan dollar to just all of a sudden fall in your lap like what you see on the screen. All this content, all this data will mean something here in a few minutes, I promise. But I wanted to take this time to get this all out in the open. You guys are looking for success, to move that needle, to get to your first $1 million in profit or inventory. You're going to want to watch this. And the good news is you don't need a brick and mortar. Okay, there's that belief like, oh, I need to have a storefront in order to be successful. No, you don't. All right, some would say, well, I most certainly need a website. Well, it certainly helps. Given the digital age of where we're at right now, it certainly helps. However, you don't really need that. You just need to know about US type coins, all right, or any sort of coins in general. You could be a world coin fanatic. You need to know what, you know, how certain countries dictate rarity and key and varieties, and then you could do really well. I know a lot of people that do strictly world coins that are incredibly successful because they're playing on the naive factor of a lot of people that are selling these coins and they just don't know what they have. All right, and that's fair enough. You know, that's just the way things are. People just care about selling it to get rid of it. They don't care about what they have. All right, and you're just gonna have folks like that. Once they're done selling it, they don't want nothing to do with it. But when we get to this point of realization that the education is there, we've studied this thing, for crying out loud, the Red Book, which, you know, I keep saying, don't care about the prices, but the prices in here are a baseline. All right, so if a coin is $12,000, you're probably not going to get $12K for it. The market really commands the amount of money that coin is deserved of, such. But when we get to a point where we're ready to go out, dwell, buy some inventory, you know, then, you know, you need to know exactly what sells. So there are sites dedicated to that. Now, if you're an avid eBay enthusiast, there are ways to look at previous sales records. You know, you go into completed sales for the last 90 days, and it couldn't be easier. But there are other tools that we could use. Like I have a site called 130point.com. where I'm able to look at some of the more recent sales in addition to what the offer prices are on some of these buy now listings that are all on here. But there's also another reason why I threw all this data up here for a few select coins is that these are going to be coins that are proven and battle tested in the marketplace when you're ready to graduate up to, say, a $500 coin, or when you're ready to graduate to a $2,000 coin. Okay, these are a few of the battle tested coins that are continuous strong sellers, especially in today's market. You guys need to know about this. A lot of them are highlighted in this book right here, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't have one, buy one. You know, it's $10-15. It's going to be the best $10-15 you will ever afford, because it'll show you what the key dates are respective to their own series and denomination. All right, so we have the 1893 Morgan. So I typed this in to 130 point and I hit search, and it brought up all of the completed sales from the most recent. As you can see, we have a Wednesday, May 12th listing here on a raw coin that sold for $2,550 through 47 bids. Now, I'm glad this is the first coin that popped up. This is probably a very important coin to talk about raw, all right? Because it's a key date. Some would say it's also widely counterfeited, but you also need to know what you're looking at, okay? Experienced coin people who have gone through the steps of learning these lessons will know what to look at through these auction listings to know, you know, what's a safe risk and what's not. So this one right here, I could tell is an honest original coin. You know, it probably grades out like a VG8, maybe a fine 12 on the best day. And this is a coin, ladies and gentlemen, that you would buy. It could be lightly cleaned. It's really hard to say, but it looks like it's got enough crust and skin on it to prove otherwise, according to the listing. And I saw the listing. It doesn't have any damage. It doesn't have digs. It doesn't have it's not a previously holed coin. It's not environmentally damaged. Nothing like that. This would be a good buy to you know, pick up, send it off to PCGS. And let's say if it came back fine details, it'd be worth more than this that you had spent on the coin. If it came back a straight graded fine 12 or whatever, then congratulations, you will have made money. I mean, just look at some of it. Here's an Annex VG10 that sold for $3,475. And you mean to tell me that this coin with more detail in the hairs and the devices is worth less? I mean, I would certainly take a flyer on that coin. Here's a cleaned example. I could tell it's cleaned just based off of the pasty white appearance of the coin. That sold for $4,200. Now, I'm putting more attention on the raw coins. All right, so here's a VF35 that sold for $3,990 through 69 bids. Now, it looks like it's been cleaned. This person appears to have not put the details grade on there. Here's another one, a fine 15. Now, you remember that first coin we looked at with the good details? This is a fine 15. I think the other one's a fine 12. $5,200. A fine 12 will come in just under $5,000, probably like $4,800. So you bought that coin originally for $2,550. You sent it off to PCGS. You paid probably $100 because of its value, and then you come away making $2,400. I mean, these are the important first steps that you have to learn before you go jumping on the horse before finding out that there is no saddle, because it's going to be a rough ride if you're not careful. And furthermore, when you're able to make these kind of judgment calls based off of seller images, and you're also identifying and taking a look at their previous sales history, what else are they selling? That's going to help you make a better informed decision on what you're buying. There's a lot of things that work here, ladies and gentlemen, and that's only stuff that can be learned through the expert tutelage of other fellow numismatists. Not necessarily dealers. Dealers are in it to look after themselves. But when you're out talking coin talk with other people who are not dealers, it makes it so much easier to be able to go out with confidence and buy stuff like this. I mean, $2,500 sounds like a lot of money, but when you're focusing on stuff like this, like the burners, the stuff that's going to have a blistering secondary market action in this hot coin market, it's almost a surefire bet that when you buy even a details clean coin, excuse me, that you're gonna feel confident in saying, well, if this came back a details graded coin in this grade, then I'll still make $500 to $1,000. You got to have the growth mindset and being able to feel confident in your ability to do that. But if you're continuously trying to show that you're well educated in numismatics by showing damaged crap coins, then this is never going to happen. You have to be open to this kind of education. Annex, some would say Annex is kind of like the toilet of the graded scene. I beg to differ. I think Annex is fantastic. Their grading is as good as NGC or PCGS, if not a little bit more stringent. Here's an EF45, which is also an XF45 and other holders, $8,800. All right. I'm willing to bet that probably a quarter of all the coins that are graded in here were at one point sniped on eBay as raw coins. And here, look, a VF Details cleaned Morgan sold for $4,479. I mean, the market is just dumb right now for coins like this. But as you can see, just tremendous. Here's another one right here. 1893S, 90% silver, through 57 bids, $2,700. 1893 Morgan Dollar, PCGS XF40. This is a beautiful one. All original. I mean, the picture sucks. $10,000. I mean, this is the kind of money that we all want to make, right? I mean, I'm going to speak for everyone to say that, hey, why would we not want to make money or just get into it and lose out every single time and just focus on that 1975 Lincoln Penny that you want to send out to PCGS in the hopes that it'll come back a 68. I mean, that's insanity. You guys know the definition of that. But as you can see, there's a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of coins here that people are taking the chance on, and they're winning. Okay? Again, the coin doesn't need to be a straight graded coin. It can be cleaned. This one right here, look at this. This is going to be a fine 12 details, or fine details. $1,800, that will be an instant double up. $3,600, $3,500 for a details cleaned, fine graded coin. And even if it's a VG details, it's still going to be $2,500. What matters to a lot of people is that they're in slabs. And when they're in slabs, people see more value in that, and they pay up nearly double what their original buy price was for that person. All right, so I wanted to drive home the first coin on the list, 1893 Morgan. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. One of the other known keys in U.S. type coins is that's the 1897 Indian head cent. As you can see, coins that look like this are all pitted with, you know, environmental issues. $403. This is a very low mintage coin. Under a million were produced. But even still, when you get into grades like this, AU55, $2,900. I mean, you know, this would be the graduation coin. This would be a coin that you would work on first before you head to that 83 or that 93S Morgan. I mean, it's real simple. But as you can see, the values on these, if you're looking to, you know, start out with $500, you could do stuff like this and get it slabbed. And it doesn't matter if it comes back graded, details, or what have you. You know, the thing that's crazy to me is just because it has all sorts of issues does not mean it's undeserving of a graded slab. Coins like this, it's understandable. These look like they were dug out of the ground, you know, and it's really hard to say, you know, whether or not you should send those out. But coins that look similar to this, that have a nice brown patina to them, you know, that might have a few issues. I mean, you know, I think that's deserving of being in a PCGS slab. You know, and again, the impression is, you know, you should certainly stay away from grading things that look like that. Now, these are key dates. Okay, there's only a finite amount of them. The market eventually will dry up over time. It may not be tomorrow. It may not be 5 years from now, but you better believe what's the availability of some of these raw coins in, say, 10 years, 20 years is going to be. You know, for all you young folks out there that's looking to get into something that's tangible. I know there's a lot of emphasis on you know, the crypto digital market and everything like that, but this is an opportunity for people that want to get in and make some extra money on the side. But again, it all stems from the very beginning to the education. All right, you wouldn't know that these coins are key dates if you don't at least open a book and find out for yourself, or search online. You want to know what the hot kind of like Indian head cents are? You know, this is where it's at. So that's the 1877 Indian head. All right, so any Carson City seeded coin from 1870 is just stupid right now. Okay, it's effectively the first date for the seeded series to feature a CC min mark, and these things right now are hot off the collar. They're hot off the presses, man. I mean, this would be another coin that's kind of like on that same level as the 1893S in terms of popularity. You are not going to have any issues whatsoever selling any of these. Like, take this coin for instance. The first coin that we came across, ungraded, purchased for $881, and the thing looks like it's been cleaned. I'm not going to lie. 25 bids. So you mean to tell me that if you don't send this to a PCGS or an NGC, I mean, it's certainly going to be worth it. Because, you know, let's say you did that. It came back like maybe a VG details. That's still going to be a $1,300, $1,400 coin. Yeah, the profit may not be thousands of dollars as some would expect. But, you know, $300, $400, you take what you can get. But, you know, you play your cards right and you learn to develop this over time, you'll buy multiple coins. You're not just going to let it all ride on one coin, you know. And that'll get to my next point here after we talk about kind of like one of the mega coins that you're working up to. But as you can see, there's a lot of opportunity for some of, you know, Carson City coins are absolutely hot right now. It is so ridiculous. I've even seen Morgan Common Date Carson Cities jump up 20% in like the last 30 days. And I'm like, where is all this coming from? Oh, yeah, it's demand, silly. So you might as well take advantage of it. But as you can see, you know, up and down the board, even destroyed coins like this one right here, that's not even a CC, but $20. Someone really loves their early seeded. You know, and then there's other ones with details and all that stuff, damaged, hold, culled. You know, there's an ass for every seat when it comes to these coins. All right, and it shows. People are paying money for them. All right, so those are the eBay sales. But when we're talking about graduating after a while, and this is something that if your mindset is such that you are, you know, focused, you're looking for coins, you're shopping, you're cherry picking like a mofo, and you're doing all the right things, then you could graduate to something like this. The 1907 $20 St. Gaudens wire and flat rim coins are some of the most awesomest coins that you could get into. Now, the listings are from 2016. You guys, I mean, look how cheap the prices were. $11,000, $10,000. I mean, this is how crazy the market has evolved over the last 12 to 18 months. A lot of the coins are like 10 to 20K 5 years ago. All right, except for like your major like high-end, you know, mid-state 66s and all that stuff. So give me a moment to get in as close as I can. Here's page 2. 2020, but you guys see the prices jump up. These are 66s, by the way, but we're up to like 50, 60K. See AU 50 for 6,300. That it's got detail, so it's got issues. Repaired rim. Look at that, mid-state 60 for $10,000 when straight graded AU 58s were what, $10,000? And we have a damaged coin here for $10,200. So the market has performed as such, but just take a look at the dollar value. If you have a few $1,000s to get yourself ready and then being diligent and concentrating and trying to be a true businessman on the numismatic sides of things, then in 12 months, you could go and afford one of these bad boys, hold on to them for a little bit, and then flip it. Or if you have a way through the dealer network to buy these at Gray Sheet and then turn around and flip it and make $6,000, $7,000, that's even better yet. Go get yourself a coin dealer newsletter and learn to do that. And then you could do stuff like this on the secondary market, you know, by meeting people and buying collections. That's how it's done. But after like 5 years, that, you know, realistically, you start getting into these deeper, more expensive coins or high grade key dates and things like that. That's where you're going to see that $1 million kind of like that goal is being met after 5 years. But you got to start somewhere. You got to be educationally motivated. You can't be better than everybody else when you haven't even gotten your feet wet or your whatever wet. But, you know, I would say in the 20 plus years I've been doing this, I've made my $1 million doing this pretty easily. I've done it a lot slower than others because I did a lot of my coin stuff in the early 2000s. Dealt with a lot of gold and silver and things of that nature, a lot of vintage, you know, bars and shipwreck stuff. But sorry, my microphone froze. Hello? Alright, sorry about that. I'm having technical difficulties, but we should be good to go still. But anyways, you guys see just the possibilities. Some of you are going to ask, well, how do I get there to that first $1,000 of investment money? Alright? And what do I always tell everyone? You got to recognize some of the low-hanging fruit style stuff that you could grab hold of, that you could make that first $1,000, $2,000. All right. For example, the upcoming Morgan and Peace dollar promotion or release here in a few weeks is going to be your first attempt to do that. I'm telling you what, these coins are going to be pretty nice, and you're going to easily triple your money right out of the gate. And whatever you do, if you buy these things, grade them, don't grade them, there's going to be kind of like that window of opportunity that I always tell people with US Mint products, where it's going to be at its pinnacle, at its highest, where you could definitely take advantage of it. And then, you know, you could easily build up a few $1,000s pretty easily without even thinking. And you do that, you work hard, you begin to get the education under your belt, you buy one of these things, for crying out loud, the book that's been around since like the early 60s or whatever, 50s, then, you know, you're going to be in good shape. You're going to be in good position. And using a little bit, because I'm not like the self-proclaimed master. I only have control over what I do. I don't like to lose money. So my mindset is, I don't like to lose money. I just want to buy like quality items. And if you think about it that way, then you'll be a lot better off in your pursuit of money. Money is not happiness, but man, it sure does make it seem a lot easier when you don't have to worry about bills and tax collectors and, you know, mortgages and all that stuff. I mean, it's a huge liberating feeling. It's a liberating thing. It takes like one less like weight off your shoulders. And then, you know, you just focus on the other stuff, you know, personal life, husbands, wives, girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever. Kids are like the right in the middle of my life, and they're what means the most to me right now. And that's my motivation. You need to find out what your guys' motivation is. If you're young in your 20s, like at one point I was, right? We want to live the high life, because if you don't think about it and you don't live it, you're going to look back when you're in your late 30s and you're going to have a lot of regrets. And you don't want that. I'm telling you guys right now. And there's always something a lot better than your current incomes. All right. So this is a great way to help supplement that and to build wealth, you know, using tangible assets. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we're at. No bullshitting around. That's for sure. Not in this video. When we're here We're here to talk about how you can make your first $1 million. And by implementing a change inside yourself where you're open to other people's mentorship, that's where you're going to be the most successful. All right. I'm only a small, less than 1% of that mentorship to you. But if you take this and you transform it into something that's more constructive for your life, then you'll do a lot better. You know, you're going to sit there and kick ass and take names in life. And you know what? Don't worry about what the next person is saying about you or what they're thinking. You know, you could be a little bit selfish when it comes to your money and the way you make it. You just have to put your mind out there. You just have to, you know that you have been taught the best stuff that you could possibly can be taught, and then you work up from there. But boy, damn, that was a long video. Sorry to keep it so ranty, but you know, this is a very important lesson for a lot of people. We are coming up to a point where the market probably won't cool down, you know, substantially, where you can make big sudden money moves because everybody else is trying to get their hands in the same pot, you know, and now it's time for you guys to do the same. So I wish you the best in all of your future business endeavors when it comes to numismatics. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next coin video. Coinaholics, make it happen. Do me proud.